I'm gonna do my absolute best to not get these songs stuck in my head like the first Frozen, because trust me guys, I did not even, not like I can't live my life properly when I'm singing these songs all the time. Up is down, day is night. Oh god. What's going on guys? James here, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. Frozen 2 has a lot of songs that I'm probably going to be singing for many months to come. But before I dive into why I actually liked Frozen 2 better than the first film, if this is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James. Now, if you're wondering who that is, that's me, and I love talking all about movies, and I drop new videos each and every week, so don't miss out. Go ahead and hit the big red button below and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't be afraid to like this video and share with all your friends who love Olaf. And in the comments below, let me know what you think of Frozen 2 versus Frozen 1. Alrighty guys, so let's dive right in to Anna and Elsa's latest adventures in Frozen 2. Right off the bat, I realized that this story has a lot more depth than the first film, which, like I said earlier, I didn't really like too much. And that's because I felt it was a little forgettable and it didn't really do things that spoke to me. But in this story, there are so many elements that really just hit me right in the heart, like right in the gut. Now in this story, the gang is back in full force. Anna, Elsa, Sven, Kristoff, and Olaf travel to this mysterious forest that's bound up by this weird mist. And apparently this mist is full of a ton of upset spirits. They have to work together not only to free the forest, but also to save Arendelle. And along the way, they also discover the origin of Elsa's powers. See, already by me explaining the story, I'm hooked all over again. In the first film, there were a lot of forgettable moments, but in this one, I felt like they took some of what I liked in the first movie and they magnified it here and just made it so solid. I walked out of Frozen 2 and I told myself, okay, I really enjoyed this movie. You know, it's rare to have a sequel that is better than the first, but I think that's what Frozen does in this movie. Now, as you can expect, Kristen Bell and Idina Menzel reprised their roles as Anna and Elsa, and yes, their chemistry is seriously A1. They're both really the glue of this film, but it helps that they have glowing moments from their supporting cast. Jonathan Groff as Kristoff is back with Sven, and it's so great. And then you have Josh Gad as Olaf, who actually I did not like as a character in the first movie. I thought he was simply annoying. But in this film, there's a little bit more for the character to do, and is not just this weird typecasted comic relief. The snowman brings the feels in some moments, and I'm like, listen, I didn't expect this at all. And honestly, some of the most memorable moments in Frozen 2 involve our supporting cast. I mean, Kristoff has this amazing 80s ballad that, I mean, it's so funny because I didn't notice it was an 80s ballad at first, but that musical number, Lost in the Woods, outstanding. Man, I'm still singing it right now. That's what I was singing in the intro. Oh, and I can't forget about Some Things Never Change. I mean, Kristen Bell crushed it in that song, you guys. It was so heartwarming, sappy, it spoke to me. And then there's Olaf, who had this awesome moment, which was the funniest in the entire film, where he retells the events of Frozen 1 to soldiers and people of the forest in the sequel. Oh my goodness. The writers did a great job at just executing their ideas for Olaf. So yeah, lower the pitchforks. I actually like Olaf in this movie. Thanks. Okay. Now, there is something that I noticed. Anna and Elsa are the focal points in the second half, and that's because the story really doesn't play to, you know, Sven and Kristoff and the comic relief with Olaf. It's more so about Anna and Elsa's relationship and also learning about their family's history. It gets a little messy, but I like that because it shows that maybe Arendelle isn't the prettiest town after all, and they didn't do the greatest job at keeping relations with the Northundral people in the forest. So I think it's a good idea that the story decided to not only grow, but grow with the audience. That's cool. Now, I watched the trailer and I even had a friend tell me that this movie is going to be a little bit darker, and he's right. The undertones to this movie are not all happy-go-lucky. There are some moments here where I'm like, okay. I applaud Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee's decisions to go in this direction, because you can't just be all flowers and daisies. You gotta hit home and let them know that, you know, sometimes the real world's a little messy, but it's kind of cool to see everyone come together just to fight for a very good cause. Okay, let's go into the negatives, because there is one thing that I didn't really like about Frozen 2. Now, just one thing. I found my eyes getting a little bit heavy during the middle of the movie, where the film kind of departs from talking about our main cast and getting into the Northundral people. They're not boring. It's just that the movie doesn't groove in those sequences. Didn't really care too much for a lot of what happened in between songs once we got to about the hour 15 mark in the movie. That's pretty much the only thing I can think of that I didn't like about the movie, because everything else was just just fine and even great in this film. I mean, the animation was so smooth, and then there were some water effects here that blew my mind. I've never seen it like that. I wanted to watch an hour's worth of just like Elsa floating on water or like playing with water droplets. It was insane. So yeah, I guess you could say that I really did like Frozen 2. The movie played to a more mature audience while still having these moments for kids and families. And then there were values that we could all learn, like selflessness, community, family, and just really caring for your neighbor. For an hour and 43 minutes, I was escaping in Frozen 2. It coasted by, and I wasn't even thinking about anything else. It was so neat to just sit down and really feel like a kid, but also realize that some of these moments really impacted me as an adult. So there you have it, guys. I liked Frozen 2 a ton. Now, if you enjoyed everything you just heard about my review, go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell right next to it because there's a lot of content dropping on Real James these days. And don't forget to like this video and share with all of your North Ellenville people. Is that how you pronounce it? I gotta work on that. And in the comments below, let me know what you think of the film when you see it. Did you like it better than Frozen 1? And what's your favorite song from Frozen 2? So until next time, I'll catch you at the next screening. Siri, look up the lyrics for Some Things Never Change. It's like an addiction at this point.